morning and welcome everybody here to the Lakers Lowdown Podcast. I'm Anthony Irwin, Senior Lakers Insider for Clutch Points. And today on the show, we're going to be talking about Luka and Anthony Davis and Max Christie and Maxi Kleber and Markieff Morris, the return of a champion. We're going to talk about how the trade came to be, what the ramifications of said trade are and might be. We'll analyze the trade a little bit, and I'll offer you what context I was able to gather overnight. And as I and you and the rest of the league, frankly, tries to come to grips with what the hell just happened last night. Loaded episode here. Let's go ahead and dive in. A quick reminder, please do hit that subscribe button wherever it is that you get your podcasts. If you guys are listening to this in its audio form, if you guys are watching, please hit that subscribe button here on YouTube. Or if you found this episode away from YouTube, please head on over to youtube.com/@LakersLounge is where you can find the show there. All right, let's go ahead and dive in. The Lakers, now the Mavericks already announced this. The Lakers, I would imagine, are getting ready to formally announce this deal, and we are on. It's done. It's a done deal. The Shams tweeted it out last night, and I thought he was hacked. The vast majority of the NBA world thought he was hacked. I called up a few of my sources. They didn't hear about this. I'll talk a little bit about how tight-lipped this was, despite being a negotiation that took place over a couple of days. But they, that it got confirmed by multiple reporters, and ESPN ran with it, and then it got posted also to other platforms other than Twitter, right, which are a little bit more secure than Twitter is at this point. And here we are. It is definitely a real thing. And we are now the morning after that trade. And it it doesn't matter who thought what at the time. All that matters is the trade is now done. In that trade, you have Luka going to the Lakers alongside Kleber and Markieff Morris. The Lakers sent Max Christie and Anthony Davis to Dallas along with a first-round pick. And then they also sent Jalen Hood-Schifino and some, I believe, I think Dallas gets some draft capital, or the Clippers got some draft capital from Dallas, and the Lakers might have sent some second round. I don't know. The Clippers don't matter. They're the little brother. But the end result here is that the Lakers got the face of their franchise for the next decade plus. And yes, sacrificing Anthony Davis in the trade, giving him up in the trade is painful. I still haven't told Avery about this. I don't know if I will. But yeah, it cost Anthony Davis and only the one first round pick when you consider like Gobert went for 7 first round picks or something crazy, and Donovan Mitchell went for all of them, and Mikal Bridges went for 4 first round picks and all of that stuff. It's, now Dallas is framing this as I think my kids just found out about the trade. The Mavericks are framing this as a quote win now trade. I don't know how you ever frame trading Luka Doncic as a win now move. Anthony Davis is definitely more win now, I guess, because he's 6 years older than Luka, but or 5 years old or whatever than Luka, and they move forward. So anyway, I took some notes. I'll read off these notes here from some of the people I talked to last night and then this morning. See where that gets us, and then we will talk about where things go from here. All right, so the Mavericks approached the Lakers about this. I'm told that as early as Wednesday, it's either Wednesday or Thursday based on the conversations I've had. The Mavericks approached the Lakers and asked them if they wanted Luka. Why? I don't know. We'll get to that in a bit. But the Mavericks were the people who initiated these conversations. And when the Mavericks asked the Lakers wanted Luka, the Lakers were like, okay, sure, whatever. And they said, we want Anthony Davis. And the Lakers were kind of shell shocked, and they debated it internally. They asked what the additional draft capital would be. Obviously, Dallas asked for both of the picks that the Lakers could move. And the Lakers said, no, we're sending you Anthony Davis. And they landed on the one pick that would go from LA to Dallas. So this is where it gets tricky because LeBron leaked after the trade, according to Dave McMenamin, and I'm not saying that Dave has bad info here or whatever. Apparently or reportedly, LeBron didn't know anything about this and was as surprised as the rest of us when he found out at dinner about the trade last night. Now, negotiations took place over a few days here, so I don't know if I necessarily believe it. And there are people I've spoken to who don't also believe that LeBron didn't know about this in any way. I'm going to just leave it where it is. I will say this, though. Those negotiations were so tight-lipped that I actually think it is plausible that LeBron found out with the rest of us. I don't think probable, but I think it's plausible that that's how things played out. Um, I don't think this was a matter of like LeBron giving sign off on the deal. The Lakers were going to, and Rob Pelinka, this is very much a Lakers and Rob Pelinka thing. So if this doesn't turn out well or whatever, nobody else wears this but the Lakers and Rob. I think it'll turn out well, and the Lakers think it'll turn out well. But this was very much Rob, Jeannie, Nico Harrison, and Dallas's ownership. So the Mavericks, now there are two sides of the story right now. The Mavericks side of it is what they told you know Tim McMahon, and there's an article for the Dallas Morning News that I can't access without signing up, so I'm not going to read it. But essentially, Nico Harrison and the Dallas Mavericks leaked to Dallas-based reporters that they are concerned about Luka's conditioning and his weight as he, continues to get bigger over the course of his career. They said they wanted to win a championship through defense, and they, they believe that Anthony Davis gives them a better chance at winning a championship now than Luka does now. There is some concern from Dallas about Luka's health. And it's for all these reasons, according to those based in Dallas and according to the Dallas Mavericks, the story they're telling is that it's for all those reasons that they approached the Lakers specifically and traded Luka Doncic at, before he really enters his prime. And now they move forward that way. Now, the Lakers side of the story, the people I've spoken to from the Lakers side of things, apparently Luka indicated to the Dallas Mavericks that he wasn't going to sign the extension that they were getting ready to offer him. Now, again, Dallas people are indicating, or some people closer to Dallas are indicating that Dallas may not have been ready to offer that extension, and they wanted to get out ahead of that situation and just moved him now. Also possible. But apparently Luka, now the Lakers have been leaking that they had Luka on their radar for years now. Kevin O'Connor, then of The Ringer, I believe, said that Luka was like the next star that the Lakers were going to go after. Luka apparently liked that idea, and according to people that I've spoken to, said, I want to be a Laker. And that's why the Mavericks specifically approached the Lakers and made this offer to the Lakers to try to get this done before it hit the presses and you had the ugly, drawn out bidding war that, yeah, would have netted them more assets probably, but they feel would have created a headache. The other thing that probably needs to be said is that Luka can be a bit of a headache. And Dallas, according to those people, Dallas was just done with this and they're just moving on. And I look, I'm biased. I believe the Lakers side of this a little bit more than I do the Dallas side of things, because if they got sick of Luka, like you would think that they would have approached OKC or San Antonio or any, Brooklyn, any organization that had more to offer in terms of, younger players and draft capital. Now, the Mavericks are saying that they want to win now. So I guess the younger players and draft capital wouldn't have been as important to them. But you would have thought that they would have at least done their due diligence to try to find a partner that would force the Lakers to at least include their second first rounder that they could have this year. But they didn't. They kept things super quiet. And now Luka is a Laker. The other aspect of this that needs to be mentioned from Dallas' standpoint is that Jason Kidd is a big fan of Anthony Davis. He was an assistant coach on the 2019-2020 team when AD arguably played the best basketball of his life en route to that championship. Kidd's voice, I would imagine, resonated in Dallas's pursuit of AD specifically. And I think it all kind of comes together to create this perfect storm where this winds up happening in the middle of the night and shocks the world. So it is, after thinking about it overnight, the most shocking trade in NBA history. And its ramifications are going to be felt for decades, probably. It's one of those kinds of trades. But that's what I've heard about how the trade came together. Now, where we go from here is also interesting. So where we go from here, the Lakers basically have a fork in the road. Again, they can focus on getting through the rest of the season, keeping their powder dry, and then improving the team in the offseason. If they do that, one possible avenue to get more assets to build around Luka is to trade LeBron. And if you're going to trade LeBron, probably want to do that over the next few days rather than wait till the offseason when he is significantly less valuable. More on that in a second. The other avenue here is to try to compete now, which is something that the Lakers are seriously considering. Do you go out and trade trade that extra first round pick that you didn't have to include in this trade to go out and get a center and round out the rest of your rotation? The rotation is pretty interesting, right? You could theoretically start Austin, Luka, Dorian, probably for the sake of defense, LeBron, and right now it'll be Jackson Hayes, or eventually it'll be Maxi Kleber because he's a little he's better than Hayes is. And then you would have Gabe, and you would have Rui and Vanderbilt, and whichever one doesn't start between Hayes and Kleber, and Dalton Connect rounding out your 10-man rotation. They could put Gabe in the starting unit for the sake of point of attack defense and have Austin move to the second unit and run that group to balance things out a little bit. I don't hate that idea, especially if you have like Jackson there running pick and roll with Austin. I don't know. I don't know which direction they would go in there. That's if they keep this group together, because I'm told, and there was a whole bunch of noise and speculation and smoke swirling around this. It's not, there's a non-zero chance, maybe even as high as a decent chance. Still, I believe a little more likely that he isn't traded than not, but the Warriors are sniffing around this situation, and LeBron is potentially open to going to Golden State. And in that case, the Lakers could get back Wiggins, Kuminga, either Looney or Moody. They would send out LeBron. They would probably also send out Bronny. And then the Warriors would have to give up a bunch of draft capital because they wouldn't be getting back, or they aren't sending somebody of the equivalent of Anthony Davis. And that would arm the Lakers with a whole bunch of draft capital this summer or in the days after making that trade, to give Luka a better second player who like more closely fits his timeline. Luka's a rear 25-year-old whose timeline is like legitimately, I don't know where it starts. It's now because he's an MVP candidate every year, and it runs until forever. If the Lakers do make that LeBron trade, one, he has to sign off on it. He has a no trade clause. But two, if they do make that trade and they have their draft pick that they didn't move this season, for Luka, additional draft capital that they would have at their disposal in the summer. Now you could go out and really make some noise and see which kind of players you can go out and get, superstars you can get for several first rounders and whatever contracts that you need to send out. That would be interesting, right? It would be, they're looking for the second star alongside Luka for the duration of this run that they now open up, and we'll see who the focus of that might be. Could honestly be Jokic, to be completely honest. He's the guy who, like, in the back of my mind, I'm like, he's really close with Luka. He has watched the Denver Nuggets put more and more and more responsibility on him with worse and worse and worse teams over the years. He might look at that situation and be like, damn, LA seems like fun. I get to play with one of my best friends in the league. We would absolutely run shit together. I think after last night, we have to completely recalibrate what we think is possible and what isn't. And I think that's possible. So just like I think it's possible LeBron James gets traded. Everything is on the table now. And these next, I'm recording this on February 2nd. The trade deadline is on February 6th. These next 4 days are going to be loud. They are going to be fascinating, and they are going to have ramifications that extend for at least a decade. Yeah, other than that, I'm here with you guys. We are all, like last night, obviously I found out when y'all did. So it's one of those situations here where now I guess it's an important update here. There is talk that Luka could return to the court after a lengthy absence with a calf issue. He could return to the court as soon as this week, before the league heads out into its All-Star break. The Lakers, I believe, play the Mavericks in April in Dallas. I'll be there. I'm going to go for that one. And we'll see how it all turns out. But yeah, over the next 4 days, the Lakers are, now Rob, according to Dave McMenamin, called. So this is Dave, quote, after the Lakers and Mavericks agreed to the deal late Saturday night, Rob Pelinka made 3 calls in quick succession, sources told ESPN. First, a joint call with Anthony Davis and JJ Redick, then a call to Davis's agent, Rich Paul, and then a call to LeBron James. How that conversation went with LeBron is going to dictate the next steps. I didn't get any details on how that conversation went between LeBron and Rob. It was something that I talked about on last night's show as we were all reacting live. But yeah, possible that we see Luka in a Lakers uniform as early as this week, as soon as this week. Possible that we no longer see LeBron and Bronny in a Lakers uniform. Also possible that we see LeBron and Luka team up together and see what that looks like. I know LeBron has wanted to play with Luka for a while. He has spoken about it on his pod. He and JJ have spoken about Luka's ability in the pick and roll together on the podcast that they used to host together. It could be, it could play out however it's going to play out. And it's going to be fascinating no matter how it goes. All right. For right now, this is just a lowdown episode. So I'm going to post this as soon as I'm done editing it. I am going to spend the rest of the day figuring out what's coming next and figuring out what things look like here from here on out. I will go live a little bit later in the evening to break this down and take your guys' questions. I know you guys have a ton. If you guys have any questions that you definitely want answered, leave them in the form of a 5-star review on iTunes, and I will definitely get to those. I haven't gotten to those in a couple of weeks because of the weird schedule the Lakers have been on game-wise. Also, by the way, the Lakers won last night. They beat the New York Knicks fairly handily in New York and did so without Anthony Davis. It was really kind of surprising to everybody. This is the least I've ever covered a win from the previous night because of all of the shit that happened since. So, yeah, we are going to go ahead and end this one here and get ready for the mailbag episode later in the afternoon or the evening. And then we will get ready for whatever happens in the coming few days. And whatever happens, the one place you're going to get as much information as we could possibly offer in the weird and dumb way that we like to purvey it, and is right here on the Lakers Lounge. So please hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, all of that good stuff. And until the next time you guys hear from me, I'm Anthony Irwin saying, have a great rest of your day. Make somebody else's. I will talk to you tomorrow.
Bye, everyone.